What is up, everybody? This is Craig from 9V Games, and hopefully you won't have to see this view for much longer. But I just want to say thank you for everybody for being respectful on my son's video yesterday. He just wanted to show. Actually, he was gonna do a review for Lego Marvel, but then decided that that's not his game. All of my N64 games are his games. So yeah, thank you. Because last time I put a video up, some assholes tread all over it. But anyways, that was really a test for this camera. As you can see, it's substantially better quality. If I flip it around, it's even better quality. But today, I'm going to do something that's might backfire. It might make me lose a little bit of cred, but I don't know why. Recently, some of my Silent Hill videos, namely the HD remakes, have been getting a lot of views. Some hate, some good, whatever. Most people find this channel by Silent Hill or Fallout or Elder Scrolls. So, since this channel is probably going to become a Fallout or a very Fallout heavy channel in November, I figure I should knock out the rest of the Silent Hill games. And this one in particular, for some reason, has popped up in about 4 comments. You ready? I'm sorry. But let's talk about this little game right here. Now you're like, Craig, you have 2 copies of that game. I do. I do have 2 copies of that game. Because, well, there's something... I don't hate this game. And a lot of you people who have been talking to me about it absolutely hate this game. And I'm convinced, and I'm sorry if you get offended when I say this, I'm convinced you didn't play it through. No. Or this one. This is possible if you did play it through. Everyone knows that Tom Hewlett is fucking terrible. When it comes to Silent Hill, if you know that guy's name, you hate him. Absolutely. He's the American dude that took over and took over producing the series, and he fucking ruined it, in my opinion. He's the reason that Silent Hill is in the shitter. They should have found a way to keep Team Silent together, or at least keep the shit in Japan. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know. When I think American horror, I know Resident Evil is Japan, but I think of American horror, for some reason I think of Resident Evil, because it's typical American horror. You know, the zombie genre is spread everywhere, but when I think of Resident Evil, I think of it as an American horror because it takes place in America. I know Silent Hill takes place in America, but it's got that American horror feel to it, even though it's Japanese. And I think they made it more and more towards America to the point where they ran Resident Evil into the ground. The fact that they have to go back to remasters and remakes in order to actually make it happen. When Silent Hill came to America, it was fucking terrible. And I'm talking about your Homecoming, your Downpour, your Book of Memories. And this one was not terrible to me. Now, this was continuing my point of why you might not like it if you played it. If you went into this game and you pre-ordered it for either system, hopefully you played it on this. Motion controls made it better, in my opinion. I think the Wii version is substantially better. If you went into that thinking it was a reboot of Silent Hill, I can see why you would hate it. It is not worthy to be put on the same pedestal as Silent Hill 1. It's not. Alright? I can't go for effect here because I thought I had it. But I don't have it here. That's concerning. I need to know where this is at all times. At all times. This is not this. Alright? This is not this in story. This is not this in, you know, epic remembrance of gaming history. But really, like, the story is not the same. And I think that's why I actually appreciated it, because I went into this game knowing it was not a reboot. Tom Hewlett does not choose his words correctly when he speaks, and I think that's why we all hate him so much. That's why we all went into Downpour thinking it was going to be like Part 2, because he told us. However, he did tell us, at least in one interview I saw about this game, that this was a reimagining or someone else's version of the Silent Hill story. I went in thinking it like that. Alright, Silent Hill is Silent Hill. It will never be changed. It should never be rebooted unless it is a word for word with the same voice actors. Blah, blah, blah. So I went into this game as, okay, this is somebody else's version. This is Michael Bay's version of Transformers. It's not going to affect the old Transformers. I still got that to go back to. I can play this. It's something completely different. It might be good. Alright? Another admission. I liked the first Transformers movie. I didn't like the other 2. I guess there was 3 more, but I didn't even watch it. But that's the way I felt it was. And the reason I wanted to do this game is because I did this game the other day, and I told you that Silent Hill shouldn't be about making you rush to get through, and that's exactly what this game was. It made you fucking rush. It made you feel like you were, it shouldn't even say make you feel like, if you stayed still in this game when it went to Nightmare World, you were dead. It took combat out completely, which I actually agree with the developers of this game. They said that combat is not necessarily, you know, deeply important to Silent Hill, because it's not. Like I've said in previous videos before, you can play Silent Hill 2 without fighting anything. Well, you have to fight a couple bosses, but mainly everything is time-based. So it's actually not an important facet. And someone else said on there about Silent Hill 4, you know, with the lack of guns. Silent Hill's not about guns. It's not about shooting things. You want shooting things, you play Resident Evil. You want psychological horror that you're just surviving, fighting things with a fucking board, or in this case, ripping things off your back because you're running away so you don't fucking die. It's awesome. And the story, I don't want to talk about the story too much, but they warped all the characters around. They made Harry seem shady as fuck, and that's for a reason. And actually, when I'm playing it in the beginning, they made it, at least the way that I played it, because it can change depending on the way that you play. That's what I liked about this. It didn't just change the ending, it changed points throughout the game, plot points, and I like that. And what happens to certain characters depending on your actions and your choices, especially in the therapist's office, which is awesome because it changes the attire. It changes the attire of the characters. How sexualized the female characters are by your shitty responses. I like that. How much of an asshole a character was, blah, blah, was based on your responses. That was completely awesome to me. You know, one point in particular, like one character they changed is Lisa. They kept her a nurse, but they had her be like, you know, in a car accident, and Harry goes to save her, and depending on your choices, you know, you give her some pills, and she can either be dying or be dead. Either way, it makes you look bad, because Sybil in this game is like on your ass and wants to arrest you. And I can't keep going with the story because I'll ruin it for people, and I implore you, if you have never played this game and you just don't like it because of Tom Hewlett, I understand. I understand, because I don't like Homecoming and I don't really like Downpour. I can't stand him. And, you know, his name is attached to this, but it's not as big as the other games. This was actually made by a different team, which is Climax. And, I know. But... It was made by Climax. Some people really liked Origins. I didn't like Origins that much. I like this substantially better because a lot of people did like Origins. That's the reason that they got to make this, is because it got such a decent reception. Not a big reception, but a decent one. I feel like it got a better reception than 4, which, in my opinion, I don't think should have happened. But I don't think Travis was that interesting. I don't know. But I implore you. Implore you, if you have never played Shattered Memories, give it a try. If you have to, play it on PS2. Don't ever play it on PSP or Vita. And if you have a choice, play it on here. Play it on the Wii. That's not pre-owned, by the way. That's new. I pre-ordered my copy. They said that the pre-orders were doing well. I pre-ordered my copy and I got this shit. I got the GameStop one, the one the employees get to take home. That one. Anyways, I was pissed about that. I lost my shit, because back in the day, they could actually take this, put a piece of tape over it, and consider it sealed. A sealed copy. That shit irritated the fuck out of me. I got poison sumac, I think. I'm itchy. I'm sorry. Anyways, so, if you've never played it before, please play it. You might not talk shit about it after you play it. You might enjoy it. If you go into it the way that I went into it, you have to look at it as this is a reimagining of the first story, not intentional to replace Silent Hill 1. Silent Hill 1 will always be Silent Hill 1. Like I said, they can never remake it. They can never recapture everything that was in Silent Hill 1, just like they're never going to be able to recapture Silent Hill 2. It's just a standalone thing. If you just want to look at Silent Hill through another writer's eyes, and like I said, if you never played it, the story twists in this one are so much different than what you know in Silent Hill, that you might actually enjoy, that it's, you know, you're playing through and it's not an exact copy through some other developer. Do you know what I mean? Like, someone can take an exact copy of a game. It's not necessarily good if it's another developer, if you don't have the original heart. They didn't have Team Silent to remake Silent Hill 1. And I'm praying that's the reason that they made this version of it, and that they didn't actually try to recreate one and backpedal and say something different when this game was... It got pretty decent reviews, but from actual gamers, some people really do hate it, and I think that's why. Don't go into it thinking that it's the replace one. Just go into it with a fresh perspective, and you might actually enjoy the game. Thank you for watching. I'm going to do another Silent Hill game next. I think I'm going to do my very first Why I Hate